Hello and welcome to my presentation for EDFD548's hurdle task. Today what I will be examining is appropriate avenues to be able to deal with the disorganised behaviour that Janelle is exhibiting. Firstly, what I will look at doing is talking about the behaviours that she is expressing, which is primarily failing to bring the required materials to class and making up excuses as to why this is the case, that she's forgotten them at home, that someone's stolen them, that she doesn't know where they are, as well as that she often presents her work in a poorly presented manner, or that it looks disorganised, or that it's been done at the last minute or on the way to school. Despite this, she does present a great deal of insight into quite complex matters, despite being a year younger than the rest of her cohort. The first behavioural management theory that I'll be examining is that of democratic discipline, which was established by Rudolf Dukas, who was an Austrian psychiatrist who examined this based on his interest in classroom discipline. The key principles that Dukas said were important for teachers is to strive to comprehend why the student is acting like this and to provide a responsible, kind and accepting model that you're wanting your students to model themselves off. In relation to this, it is also important to encourage students so that you are building a supportive classroom environment and that we're presenting issues surrounding discipline due to the goals of students being met. However, it is important to establish a logical set of consequences that are associated with the school and class rules. These consequences are established to fortify the expectation that rules are formed to be complied with, and it is also important that they're linked to being logical to the misconduct that the student is presenting that we want to rectify. In relation to the situation here, this would be the case of if Janelle is presenting work that is in poor form or it's looking untidy, what we would need to do is look at ensuring that she needs to resubmit that, but complete it in her own time, such as after school or at lunchtimes. Or if she's forgetting her material, she may be able to rent that off the teacher, for example. However, she would need to provide a piece of collateral to the teacher in order to be able to do that, which she would then get back at the end of the lesson after she has, say, tidied the classroom or wiped down the whiteboard afterwards. Secondly, what I will be looking at is the discipline through pragmatic classroom management. This was established by Harry and Rosemary Wong, who took a pragmatic approach to this and focused on establishing procedures and structures that allow students to attain a high level of success. So within this, they insisted that poor behaviour was due to errors teachers made in managing the classroom rather than poor discipline. However, this does not negate the fact that discipline plans are required within the classroom. However, it was more important that students are taught how to behave and that the procedures and requirements of behaviour within the classroom are thought out and explained to students. So within Janelle's case, this pertains to this discipline through pragmatic classroom management, as what would happen would be that students are taught how to acceptably conduct themselves, and this behaviour would then effectively become routine for the students. So once they are taught how they are expected to come to class, how the work is to be returned to the teacher and the consequences of failing to do so, students are effectively taught the appropriate manner of behaviour, and therefore this will become routine for them and those difficult behaviour mechanisms will no longer exist. The questions that I established as a result of undertaking this task was primarily three major issues. So number one was the effect that Janelle's age may have on her work and whether or not being a year younger was resulting in her disorganised behaviour. Secondly, whether or not Janelle may have home factors that aren't allowing her to adequately complete her schoolwork and the ways in which the behaviour management theories might be able to deal with this. And thirdly, how these behaviour management theories might be able to effectively manage parents who are unhappy with the way that their children are being disciplined because they aren't happy with that. Thank you very much for listening. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.